Here's a short segment of our last podcast. Make sure to like and subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss a show. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't there like a spiritual successor to Suikoden that somebody was kickstarting or something like that? And maybe
Yeah,
that's where they got the.
Ueden Chronicles. That is definitely a driver there because the original creator of Suikoden did a Kickstarter to create Ueden Chronicles 100 Heroes, and that popped off. Like people were all about it. It got backed quickly and way over what they were asking for, to the point where they actually already developed a side game and released it on Steam. I think it's called Ueden Chronicles Rising.
Okay.
So, they were able to at least develop one side game, and Ueden Chronicles comes out later this year. So the main title is going to be coming out this year. Lots and lots of interest in that game, which I almost 100% guarantee you is the only reason why Konami is releasing Suikoden Remake. They're trying to cash in on the excitement around Ueden Chronicles from that fan base. And if both of those things pop off, then I think you're going to get a Suikoden 6.
Now, you said love, hate. So we talked a little bit about the love. Give me the hate. as far as Konami.
Konami is an awful company. Like they have done some truly dreadful things in their history. Let me like there's an article from svg.com that runs through it. I'm not going to read it the whole thing because it is incredibly long, but I'm going to read just kind of like the top line parts. And it's going to start off sounding, okay, that's kind of game developer stuff. Then it's going to get wild. So it starts off with separating from Hideo Kojima in the ugliest, most childish way possible. So that was a big public breakup.
Yes.
I mentioned that earlier. Not good. Not a good look for Konami. And they lost out on a massive cash cow and a beloved figure in game development. Everybody likes Kojima.
Yeah.
Even the people that don't like his games just like him as being like an eccentric personality.
Yeah.
So that was a big one. Removing PT from the PlayStation Store. We talked about that earlier. People were furious, that PT looked awesome and then suddenly vanished, But I think they're trying to make up for that with the new Silent Hill games. Running a ridiculous boot camp for Metal Gear Solid 5 reviewers. So this is a part of their effort to try to massage the narrative around their games on release, which they have a history of doing that sort of stuff.
Now that sounds really slimy. I mean, can you give us a little bit? Can you the details on this boot camp?
Okay, so and I'm reading this from the article. According to those who took part, they were put up in a hotel room where they were giving strict 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. blocks to play Metal Gear Solid 5: The Phantom Pain. The game could not be played outside those hours, and when time was up, time was up. If you assume every second of that time was spent playing the game, that only gave reviewers a total of 40 hours to get through the Phantom Pain, or at least play enough to formulate an opinion. And if you look up the game up on how long to beat, you'll find it takes players on average 45.5 hours to get to the story alone. So they put them in hotel rooms. It basically sounds like Squid Game, Like they're in
this is North Korea or what?
Yeah, like they're in like a bunker, and then like the lights come on, and then they're ushered to a room where they have to play a 45+ hour game in 40 hours. It sounds like the worst way to experience a game, honestly. So
go play in Guantanamo. That's where you're going. Jesus Christ, man, that sounds terrible.
Yeah. So, they were also popped for charging for save slots in Metal Gear Survive, which, holy Lord, like how devious do you have to be to charge people for save slots? So, I mean, it says the game sells a currency called SV coins, SV coins, for real money. So they use those in-game tokens to be able to purchase, save slots. Moving on down, they blacklisted critical media outlets. So if you had anything bad to say about a Konami game, you were on their blacklist. I would rather they do that than treat them like Squid Game, but that's still pretty slimy behavior.
Okay, here's your choice. Blacklist or Squid Game, one of the two. What do you want? Jeez.
Oh, Blacklist, easily. Easily. Like I can always post a review after the game's been released, but I don't want to be put up in a bunker and forced to play a game in a 40-hour time. No, hell no.
See, that's what Tommy Tallarico should have done when
He could have learned. Maybe he should have teamed up with Konami
Oh,
for his
man.
Amico rollout. So, attempting to silence a critic with DMCA takedowns. As a YouTuber, I do not like DMCA takedowns, so that's particularly egregious to me. Engaging in unfair business practice. So, this one's interesting. So, I'm going to read a little bit of this one because it is actually kind of a fascinating thing, and I didn't really know this about Japan. So, they talk about, the Madden franchise, for instance, having an NFL exclusive for over a decade. Konami entered into such agreement with baseball, the Professional Baseball Organization of Japan, way back in the early 2000s. But that particular arrangement came with a twist. Konami would exclusively hold the license and manage licensing to other software companies. This meant that Konami would be in charge of okaying others to use the Pro Professional Baseball Organization of Japan's license, even when those companies were going to create competing products. So that means that if Konami's making a baseball game and some other company, they're licensing out Pro Baseball Organization of Japan license to that other company, they could sit on okaying the usage of that license until after Konami releases their game first.
Yeah.
So obviously this did not sit well in Japanese courts,
No.
and it ran afoul of their Anti-Monopoly Act, which, of course, it's explicitly a monopolistic practice.
Yes, absolutely.
It's one of the scummier things they've done until you get down to some of this other stuff, operating a nanny state work environment. So this is about how they had video cameras trained on all of their employees, and they would literally document any time an employee got up from their desk to go use the bathroom, and they would mark how much time it took them away from their desk. Like really, really crazy, like Amazon warehouse stuff, basically, And I'm going to have to read this last one because this is brutal.
So
this is brutal.
Hold on. So
yes,
there's worse than timing your going to the bathroom and the Squid Games. There's worse than that. Jeez.
Yes.
This company sounds wonderful to work for.
Let me just read you the headline of this next one. Demoting an employee because she gave birth. Now, I really want to get into the details of this, so I'm going to go as quickly as possible.
You know what? I think this right here should just be an episode by itself. Here.
There should definitely be some documentary and research on this one. Sekiguchi became pregnant in 2008. It took maternity leave from Konami to give birth, and afterward care for a new baby. When she returned to work in early 2009, however, Sekiguchi was informed that she had been demoted from the position she held. The move reduced her monthly income roughly $2,000. She lost $2,000 a month from that demotion. Not exactly news someone wants to hear after having a child. When Sekiguchi pressed her superiors for an explanation as to why she'd been demoted, she was told it was because of the, quote, burden she now had, her baby. Refusing to let the move go without a fight, Sekiguchi sued Konami for $422,000, citing discrimination due to her status as a new mother. The case took a long time to reach its conclusion, nearly 3 years. But when it did, Sekiguchi emerged victorious. Unfortunately, she was only rewarded $12,000.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man. Oh, you know what? I mean, how can I buy a game now? It's almost like
exactly. That's what I'm saying, man.
It's like I think the only right thing to do is pirate their shit at this point, right? Like what you heard? Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. The link is down below for the full show.